Hi, this is Dave Andrus with Prime Pool Route Sales. So I grew up in Southern California. I went to college in LA, and after college I worked in banking for about 13 years. During those banking years, I moved to Northern California, in the Bay Area and in the Central Valley. After being in banking for so many years, I started getting promoted, which sounds great, but it didn't really matter how hard I worked or how many hours I put in. My pay structure would get changed, or I'd get laid off due to a merger. So after a while, I finally came to my senses and I started looking for a business to buy. I wanted a business that would give me stability and the ability to gain wealth. I actually had no problem working long hours, but for what? So I could make more money for the employer and their shareholders. So I spent quite a bit of time searching for the perfect business to buy. I looked at other businesses, but then I'd keep coming back to the idea of buying a pool route. And one day I came home from work and I said to my wife, "Honey, I think we're going to buy a pool route." And she laughed and she said, "What do you know about owning a pool route?" Well, she had me. I knew nothing about buying a pool route, but I had this feeling, it's a little hard to describe, that it would just work out for us. And so I ended up calling the pool route broker who had this pool route listed, and he said to me, "You won't find any other business out there that's better than a pool service route." And right after that, the red flags went up, and I thought, okay, here comes the sales pitch. But I listened to him carefully to everything he said. He talked about unlimited income potential, and I thought, yeah, that's what everyone says. And then he talked about having a flexible work schedule. And I thought, yeah, other business salespeople say that too. But then he said something that really caught my attention. He talked about a recurring stream of income. That's the key. I liked the fact that the customer base pays monthly. Every single month, money comes in. Hey guys, I'm Dave Andrus, creator of therichpoolguy.com. Have you ever dreamed of starting your own business, but you just weren't sure where to begin? What if I told you you could start a pool service from scratch with as little as $1,000 and make $100,000 by the end of your first year? With 25 years of experience, I've made millions of dollars owning a pool service by following my proven 7 baby steps. If you know nothing about pools, I provide you with Baby Step 1, my Fast Start Pool Service Basics course. I cover everything you need to know to successfully run your own pool service and get you ready for your first day in the business. In Baby Step 2, I'll guide you through 21 easy-to-follow steps to either starting a new pool service from scratch with $1,000 or how to evaluate an existing route for sale. Baby Step 3 is all about how to grow your pool service to 100 customers as quickly as possible, teaching you the most effective advertising strategies and how to convert phone calls into long-term customers. My favorite, Baby Step 4, is all about how to dominate your local market. This is where I'll reveal the steps you need to take to double your income in your second year. Finally, Baby Steps 5, 6, and 7 are all about creating wealth. I show you how I created millions of dollars owning a pool service, and I'll walk you through this process step by step. Everything I've done over the past 25 years, you can do too. So if you're ready to take control of your financial future, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join me at therichpoolguy.com. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to schedule a free Zoom call with me. God has been so good to me and my family, and I want to pass on His blessings to anyone who has an interest. Have a blessed day, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. It wasn't like retail where half your income comes in during the Christmas season, or like owning a restaurant with high overhead and inflation. I also really liked the return on investment feature. If you're what they call a single poler, which means a one-man business with a single pole in the back of your truck, you're looking at about a 75% return on investment. And if you have employees, you're right around a 50% return on investment. Where else are you going to make a 75% return on investment? So for me, I'm a numbers guy. I started doing the math on paper and I thought, wow, what other business can I buy that's got a low startup cost, like the cost of the accounts, a truck or a car with a trailer, some tools, chemicals to buy, and really not too much else to get started. A steady stream of monthly income with a customer base paying me each month. It's a recession-proof business in good times and in bad. The sun is still shining and pools still need chemicals to keep from going green. There's a return on investment that beats just about every other business you want to buy. The seller provides on-the-job training and support for 3 months during the guarantee period. This is where every account you buy is guaranteed to transfer to you. The seller also signs a 5-year covenant not to compete, so I don't have to worry about him going back to those customers trying to steal them away. And it's a service trade that's portable. In other words, I can take this trade from one state and move it to another if I wanted to. And so I have to tell you, I've had this thought going on for about the past 20 some years. Is there a better business to buy than a pool route? Keep watching this video and you can make the call. So thinking about buying a business and actually buying a business are two different things. And in between thinking and actually buying a business, right in the middle, that's called fear. And I remembered laying in bed, wide awake, thinking, what if this doesn't work out? $85,000, that's the cost of the pool route that I was buying. That's a lot of money. And I'm committing career suicide. I'm walking away from a paycheck. I have to get health insurance for my family. I'm the sole provider for my wife and my 2 little kids. My daughter has special needs. I've got a mortgage. I've got car payments. Oh my gosh, you name it. I thought about every excuse possible not to buy this business. And it all stems from fear. But I decided to meet the seller anyway. I looked at his books. I verified the profitability of his company, and I see the pools he's selling. And I started to think, gosh, this is a little bit too good to be true. So I decided to go for it. So I quit my job, I buy the pool route, bought the truck, started my 2 weeks of on-the-job training from the seller. And the seller also provided support during the entire 90 days, holding my hand as I took over the invoicing, servicing all the pools, working with the customers, and I gained knowledge and experience, all with the seller there supporting me by my side. So we made it through that first summer in 2002. It was strange going from a cushy office job, sitting in air conditioning, to working outside in shorts, but I actually loved the change. I got to know my customers on a first-name basis, and I strived to provide excellent customer service, so I rarely lost any customers. Now this is where I start showing my age. In 2003, the internet was just starting to come alive, and so we had a big Yellow Pages ad. In the spring, we mailed out postcards trying to drum up new business, and it was a total success because at the end of that summer, we had doubled our business by adding over 100 new customers. That was our second summer in business, and we never made less than 6 figures from that point on. So after a few years in the business, we went from 100 customers to over 400 customers. And then in 2006, the recession hit, and boy did it ever. Remember when I said a pool route is recession-proof? Let me tell you what happened to us. The economy started cooling down in the summer of 2006, but it didn't hurt our business in any way. People were starting to get laid off, businesses were going under, home values were plummeting, and people were walking away from their homes. But some things didn't change. In other words, the sun still came up and pools still need chemicals every day, so it didn't affect us at all. But in 2007 through 2009, we experienced what they called the Great Recession. Now, it wasn't as bad as the Depression, but it was the greatest recession we've ever had in this country. But this is where it really gets interesting. In 2007, nobody wanted to buy a home because home prices were depreciating every month. As a matter of fact, I was right in the middle of the economic storm. I was sandwiched in between Stockton, California and Mountain House, California. These cities had the largest drop in homeowner equity, more than any other city in the country. Foreclosures spiked. Lenders were actually giving cash to homeowners in exchange for keys to their house, and people were losing their jobs left and right. So check this out. Because people were walking away from their homes, especially in the poor areas where people couldn't afford pool service, their pools were going green. So I started getting these calls from national property managers who were working with the banks, and they'd ask me to go out, drain the pool, clean it, fill it back up, and service the pool until the home sells, which usually was at auction. So I charged $500 to drain the pool, pressure wash the walls, fill it back up, clean the filter, and add new chemicals. I did this a minimum of 3 times a week, usually 4 pools a week, and sometimes 5 pools a week. So do the math. I drained 4 pools a week times $500 of draining. That's $2,000 a week, or about $100,000 a year, just from draining and cleaning pools. That doesn't even include the repairs that went in the pool, extra fees for acid washes, or even the follow-up monthly pool service. Plus, we had a base of over 400 pools on a regular weekly schedule. So for about the next 10 years, we're just on cruise control. The business was at maturity, so I started a business within my business, and I started getting into selling pool accounts. I would keep the main business, but I would sell a portion of my accounts to people who were just starting out. I found myself with hundreds of customers, high demand for my services, but I was spread too thin over several different cities, so I started selling my accounts from the faraway cities. This is where I started to have fun. I'd sell off the accounts that I'd have in some city, 45 minutes away, and replace those accounts in about 3 to 6 months, all in my hometown. I did this over and over until I dominated the market share in my hometown. After several years, I still had hundreds of customers, but now they were all just down the street, no more than 14 minutes away. So picture this, I'm getting a whole year's worth of income up front, in cash, by selling that pool account, and I'm replacing the lost monthly income with a new account in my hometown. What's the advantage here? My expenses went down in gas because I lived in the same city as the pools I serviced. I didn't have to travel 45 minutes to get to my first pool. And I developed a ridiculously tight route, which meant that I could service more pools a day, which again increases profitability. Now let's talk about how to build wealth with a pool service. As the business went on, we continued to make great money. I had plenty of customers. They were all within a few miles from my home. We had the big house, we had the new minivan, we had the RV and all the toys, and the business of building and selling pool routes was maturing. But remember, I wasn't working for a corporation, so I didn't have a 401k. We invested our profits into rental properties. We would buy a rental property, pay off the rental property, buy another rental property, pay off that rental property, and in 2017, we paid off our own home. But an interesting thing happened. When I became debt-free, I kind of lost my focus. My bank account was soaring, and I kept seeing the numbers go up so fast, but it was like I was no longer having fun. I didn't feel like I had anything to work for anymore. It's actually a little hard to explain. So I started thinking about retirement. So I'm in Northern California, I'm working 5 days a week, and I'm watching my bank account soar because I didn't have any debts. COVID comes along in 2020. Businesses are closing left and right, but we weren't affected in any way because the government considered me an essential worker. It was business as usual, no drop in income whatsoever. And I was thinking to myself, well, what am I going to do next? And so after selling many routes, I decided to sell my business after nearly 20 years. I sold the business, I bought an RV, bought the Jeep to go behind it, and I traveled around the country. So after traveling around in the RV, I started to get a little bored. The RV had some electrical problems, so we came back to Northern California, sold that RV, sold the Jeep, and I'm twiddling my fingers thinking to myself, what am I going to do next? So we opened up Prime Pool Route Sales in 2021. We ended up growing so fast in those first couple months. But one day I had this thought and I asked myself, I wonder if I could do it all again. I wonder if I could start a pool service from scratch, 0 accounts. So I opened up a brand new pool service, no accounts on the books at all. We marketed our new pool service completely with social media, some paid advertising, some free advertising. Now this is where it gets really interesting. I'm a single poler, meaning that I'm a one-man company, and I'm putting on about 10 new customers a month. Plus, I'm making thousands of dollars on the side doing pool drainings and pool inspection reports. In the 10th month, we welcome our 100th customer. In the 11th month, we made $21,000 and I put the business up for sale. In the 12th month, we sell the business for $185,000 cash. And again, I say, there is no other business better than owning a pool route. Owning a pool service has been a complete blessing for me and my family. And as born-again Christians, it gives us the opportunity to help those in need within our community, local nonprofits, our church, and missionaries across the world. And I remember back over 20 years ago, lying in bed thinking to myself, what if this doesn't work out? But I'm so glad I made the decision to buy a pool route because it changed our lives in so many ways. If you're interested in learning more about buying or selling a pool route and how to make it successful and profitable, then call me or text me. You can also go onto our website at primepoolroutesales.com to schedule a Zoom appointment with me. It's completely free of charge. Let me know. I'm here to help. Thank you for listening to me. Blessings to you in Jesus' name. All right, office manager, come on up.
Hi, like, share, and subscribe. My dad's number is 209-640-1838. Call, text, click, whatever. Just give him business.
Just give him business. I love you, Katie. All right, get out of here.
Like.
Like.
Subscribe.
Okay.
This is Katie.
Okay.